What's up, everyone? We're back with game 2 for qualifier day. Well, for qualifier 2, day number 1, and we've got another, hopefully, pretty good game. Another two teams that did not make it into closed last time around, but they were this close.
Yeah, both striving to get there. I mean, you've got Rizz Academy and, of course, Above the Lawn. I think both these were like barely on the edge, maybe expecting to make it this time. I know Rizz Academy, they have Nyx on their team, the one that played on Mirage, so they've got some of that pro league talent that maybe will spur them over the edge, but we'll have to see. I mean, we could talk about the rosters. I know that that's definitely some of their strong points because I mentioned Nyx, but maybe that will be the thing that, like I said, will give them edge.
Definitely could be. Rizz Academy also, I know last time played with Zers. This time they'll be playing with Slippery instead. Long-standing Challenger League talent there. Otherwise, he's got, I know they have Fens and Focal, two newer kids on the block, and Dami. I love that guy. Dami, of course, winning CCS. The last season of CCS we saw, winning RSA Season 2 with Aerial Arise with like Gunnar and Whitlock and them. Dami's always been a pretty good player. Above the Law, on the other hand, Jolt, who had a very brief stint in CL with, what the hell were they called? With the Heist. We all know how that ended. Morocco in CL with Smoke Break, also very briefly. We all know what happened with that team. And then a bunch of other T3 guys on Above the Law. So Nook, Flores, Azami, our first three bands of Cafe, followed by the Valkyrie. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. But it does mean Thatcher is up, as well as all four Hard Breachers and Mira.
I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, Mira, you can use her on the second floor. I think maybe on the third floor sometimes if you're feeling a little bit spicy. But mainly you can just overlook certain areas with those black mirrors that otherwise you may not if she was banned otherwise. But Rizz Academy, they get to start on the defense. You got Above the Law on the attack as... Well, I mean, we saw kind of the two-sided nature about the attack and the defense in the previous match. We'll have to see if that kind of rears its head in this one.
I'm excited for the prospect of for this Mira that Nyx is playing. We don't usually see a lot of Mira on Cafe ever because she's just so goddamn strong. No one wants to be against. It's not that no one wants to play her. No one wants to deal with her when they end up on the attack. But she's here today. So, Rizz Academy start off on Reading Room, a site that's gained popularity now that Kitchen isn't considered as good anymore. I do like the lineup. They're bringing the Jaeger, bringing the Mute for Denial, Alibi, and Frost for those shields. Meanwhile, Above the Law, curiously enough, have Ascends. Not someone we see really ever. Maybe once every like few play days in like Challenger League. Even I think we saw her in like 2 games. Well, not her. Saw them in like 2 games total. I'd love to see what Badger does.
I think they're one of the operators where you can actually, on certain sites, they may be viable, but even then, they are not like a set strategy on actual sites. So I mean, I'm surprised as well, like Reading, maybe they're wanting to go for, you know, a fireplace play, maybe use that ROU to obscure the vision, get the plant down. We'll have to see, because right now, Above the Law, they're still kind of going for that standard Cafe take, breaking open the hatch, breaking open the windows, working through Cigar, because that is still a play you need to work through. On most of these sites, this is going to be a position of which the defenders are going to want to hold, but Fens is going to get us kicked off for the evening, not with a kill, only with a down. They actually start us off with a death.
Great reaction there from Badger on top of the hatch to get him through the soft wall that they had left soft, of course, to use those footholds. So they're able to pick up Shiba. Zofia is still alive, and Above the Law can continue this top floor clear. The next target, of course, going to be Slippery and Bathroom, but the Jaeger, armed with the mirror window, gets the better of Morocco. The Sledge now dead. I was thinking maybe they use Badger's utility to, like, well, not really smoke off, but, you know, sends off the mirror windows and obscure those lines of sight, but haven't used the utility just yet. I guess saving it for some sort of execute. They might even just, I don't know. I thought they were giving up on the top floor clear, but here we go. Finally, the gadget comes out. Are they going to actually, they're not pushing off of it though. They're not pushing into piano, not trying to gain ground against bathroom, because even when that sense projector does finally finish, well, then you're still stuck facing a mirror window. Maybe they could have used the opportunity to punch it, but either way, I mean, that was just kind of a waste of the ROU.
So you've got Jolt up on the 3rd floor. Shiba, I believe, is on the 1st floor. I mean, there's 30 seconds left, and if Nomad gets found out, I think trading a little bit of damage, but so far, what is above the law? What are their plans on when actually getting inside the site? There's only 15 seconds. The ROU, like I said, maybe that's the plan. They throw a little hamster wheel in there and try to get the fireplace. I think that's the only option you have right now, and that's gone. So even though above the law, it's an equal man count, they have absolutely no time to work with. But I mean, there was a small chance with a 1v1 that the attack could actually walk away with the victory, but just hiding behind the chassis.
So, curious attack from above the law really didn't have any plan on how to deal with the mirror window because, you know, sacrificing a hard breach for the Sens. Again, I expected them to use the Sens to walk up to the mirror window and punch it to force Slippery off, but they never did that. They just kind of wasted time upstairs and rotated down. Additionally, losing all that control in Cigar, the Nomad dying, did not help one bit. At the very end, like you said, it was incredibly close, but Focal, of course, having the knowledge to sit and wait instead of exposing himself and giving the opportunity for Spy to take a gunfight. Love that kind of passivity from young players. So, great job. Well, not young. I guess Focal's been in Challenger League before, but, you know, newish players. So Rizz Academy start off with a win, but they'll avoid bar for now, curiously enough. Instead, opting to go for kitchen, and above the law completely change their comp. Again, no dedicated hard breacher. They could bring hard breach charges, though, on 3 of their 5 operators. Instead, they have a 0 for flank watch, a Ying to shove themselves in the site, maybe a Jackal to expedite the roam clear, along with a buck and a sledge to work the vert.
So the goal seems to probably head to the 2nd floor, at least with Spy and Shiba, because, I mean, that's probably where you're gonna get the most utility. But you can see Rizz Academy, they sent players up there, Fens, hoping that players from above the law would just walk by that window, as right now, Rizz Academy, they are just eager to get an early peek, get an early kill, and keep above the law down, as they're prepping windows, they're setting themselves up to really get a jump on any of these players. And now Spy, they break a window to get the default, but they slink away just as Fens actually starts to find some interest in the window. So far, it's above the law, just taking a little bit of time. That's something that we've seen from them. They're a little bit more conservative, or at least they were in that first round.
Yeah, it makes me a bit worried for how this roam clear is going to go, considering they only needed to clear one floor last time we saw how long that took. They do start out with a kill. Fens goes down. Dami looking for a refrag out the window, but was just pre-firing to clear his rotate back downward. So he'll abandon the top floor. Above the law have peeled away 1 layer. Now they've got to go on to the next. The middle floor, as Dami skates away, hops down the hatch, leaving just Slippery. I think Slippery on the 2nd floor and Focal on the staircase. No, Slippery's falling back as well. So it's just Focal on this staircase. Much faster for above the law, but Shiba's the next to fall. Slippery catches him, maybe peeking that hatch. No, on the white stairs. Okay, so Slippery pushed back up. And now they lose 1 piece of vert, but at least they have the redundancy with the sledge.
Yeah, there isn't as much to be lost because, well, I mean, Sledge can absolutely do the job needed. I think maybe you brought the buck so you could alleviate some of that pressure, but so far, I mean, we've seen what Sledge himself has been able to do. Potentially winning a round just by creating enough holes that the defense cannot consistently play certain areas for fear that they would get shot out. Rizz Academy pushing the envelope as Dami with Nyx try to push up the stairs and actually die for it. 50% are going to be put into the ground, and now Nyx is going to be followed up by the Jackal. So Slippery all alone by this bakery area. Ooh. A good shot onto Badger, but that's 25% of the attack that he has to work through. Diffuser isn't actually in the pockets of anybody but Above the Law, as I think it just might be by that freezer area. I mean, either way, you still have to get it, put it down, and there isn't going to be too much to work towards for Above the Law to really slap the diffuser down, defend against the lone player of Rizz Academy. As you can see, Slippery pushing forward. Here's the little digits of the diffuser, but a trade means that, well, we're going to have the attack when they had the advantage in the end.
Fantastic attempt from Slippery. 2 beautiful shots using that SMG-11, showing just why he was in Challenger League for so long. But Above the Law, a much quicker roam clear, a much better roam clear, able to get 2 kills off of it for just Shiba, who already worked his way downstairs. From there, you leave the sledge to work the vert. Above the Law, Rizz Academy feel pressured. They try to retake upstairs, and Morocco's ready for it. I think it was 3 kills on the round for the Jackal. Wonderful work from Morocco to tie the score. And Rizz Academy still do not want to go to bar. They prefer mining instead. They'll bring a Mira once again. They'll have to defend top floor, of course. But now even more stock is going to be placed in trying to hold Piano and Bathroom.
They're trying to alleviate from reading. They still have the Mira, which, I mean, I personally do not see the mining side over the reading side, especially with somebody like a Mira. So I think most of it is still just going to be dedicated towards that 3rd floor, of which we saw Above the Law struggle with. The one operator that maybe could have been a counter turret wasn't used in that manner. So, I mean, frag grenades are probably the only thing. Fens tries to hop out, does some damage, but even takes more himself. So, I mean, not much gain, but not much really lost in the end there, Crow.
Yeah, almost equal damage. I mean, he's able to rotate back upstairs anyway, so not that big a deal. He is, however, playing with those floor holes on the top red wall once again. Badger having to use some X-Kairos to pop open the hatches because there's nothing else to do it. No sledge. Well, no, they do have a sledge. No buck, no breaching charges and sledges elsewhere. I mean, maybe he just didn't want to wait for Shiba to rotate upstairs. I don't know. Either way, Badger has used utility. He's going to be the main counter to that mirror window, like you said, but they have to get control of Piano first. They have to rip it away from Fens.
Fens has been an opening death in both of these rounds, but I mean, that right there is fixed. You don't have to worry about the Habana that you'll need. Yeah, especially with how essential he might be. You lose the Jaeger as a little bit of a trade, but just immediately is Spy gaunt. And Above the Law just teetering right now, and especially with Morocco barely surviving, taking a lot of damage. And from what source, I think it might have been that player all the way over by Piano, but either way, they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's a player over in mining. There's a player in Cigar itself in Fens who is just being a bastion in this position. So if Above the Law cannot deal with at least this player by Piano, I really don't have much luck with this round.
Jolt's trying to make something work with the drone and the EMPs coming in, and finally Fens goes down thanks to Morocco. Someone else, though, has pushed up. Dami on this Aruni just around the corner, and Shiba doesn't know it. He'll hop back over the Cigar counter, and he'll evade the sight line of this Aruni, at least for now. But the drone finally comes in. It does spot Dami, and he's going to be forced to move. Shiba, in the meantime, he's on the hunt. He knows Dami's around here somewhere because he would have had to cross over by that double door. Dami's got pings of his own. He's got yellow pings on Shiba before the camera is finally dusted. There's a pinch coming through. Dami nearly gets one, but Jolt gets the better of him. Now a 3 versus 2 in the favor Above the Law, but the time is so low. 15 seconds remaining. The mirror window now useless for Nyx as they're no longer pushing that window. They're all coming by the pillar side. They're all low HP, though. Easy pickings for a fast fire rate of the SMG-11 and the Vector. In comes the first attacker. Nyx evades the shots, at least for now, but finally goes down. The time's so low, Focal. One pumps Jolt. And Above the Law just take too long to push in. They were right next to the site, but they didn't want to get ahead of themselves, and it costs them.
That was like the one position that was just perfect. for Rizz Academy, because didn't have to move, didn't really have to do anything else but shoot the player who had the diffuser, and time just did the rest. So now Rizz Academy, I mean, they continue to win that second floor. They're actually still not opting to head over to Kitch to the third floor, of which we usually expect to see. It's just right back over to reading mining, which, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise. It was something that Above the Law definitely struggled to deal with, but it was less about the site and more about the Mira up on the third floor. So we'll have to see if the actual, execution of the site is something where Above the Law struggles with.
To be fair, it's not like Above the Law were able to clear the Mira window last round either. Nyx was able to get a kill off of it, and
True.
The Hibana died instantly. So we didn't get to see any kind of counterplay from Above the Law, other than, push in from Pillar and make it so Nyx can't use the mirror window that he placed. So, I mean, hopefully the Hibana lives this time instead of dying peeking the mining window. Badger, again, really the only counter that Above the Law have for this Mira. They need him to stay up. Otherwise, again, they might get stumped trying to push past Bathroom.
And I mean, I think at that point, like, you just kind of have to give it up. Like, if you lose Badger again, I mean, my only guess is just completely go for a horizontal play, which still doesn't really bode well. But that's saying that Badger loses another gunfight, tries to take one. He probably shouldn't, but here's hoping that he is a little bit smarter with his positioning, considering how valuable he is. But it is just default so far for Above the Law, doing the same thing that they have done time and time again, looking for something different. I mean, you and I have just said that the mirror window is the main problem for Above the Law on this third floor, and they're still trying to work their way toward it. A minute gone already, but with that main counter, Badger working toward the window, maybe they're going to actually start to deal with it.
Unless they don't. He's not on the top floor, so he's not planning to take out the bathroom mirror. Are they maybe they're focusing on this train mirror first? In comes the impact EMP, as well as the destruction down below to clear the mute jammer behind the mirror window, and they're able to destroy it. So that's one mirror window down. But they still have to worry about the one upstairs, though. You just can't take in, you can't move into sight without some sort of top floor clear, especially as Fens now kills Jolt for the leadoff frag. I don't know, the decision making from Above the Law, a bit odd. They do get a nade in. Well, they did get a nade in, but it was caught by a disc, and Fens peeks off of it. Morocco, the next to die, because there's just no pixel clear. Above the Law have tried to avoid both the mirror window and the pixel position. Finally, we see the mirror window dusted by the Hibana and the kill on defense, but at what cost? Over 2 minutes and 2 bodies? We might be seeing yet another doomed push from Above the Law.
But it is an even man count, Crow. Above the Law, actually inside of that mining area. Maybe Shiba will lead the way, but there isn't any direct access to the site. You're going to see these Hibana pellets actually start to ring out. Maybe just create an actual entry inside of the site, but with just how much time is on the clock, it's going to have to be these main entryways that the map has given us. But Badger sees the barricade, knowing that, well, this is really the only way that they can get in. The default is going to have to be the play as Badger starts to put down the diffuser, but as 2 of his friends die, that plan immediately foiled, and Above the Law aren't going to be able to put together another attack.
What do you know? Not dealing with Pixel or Bathroom Mira until the, minute mark. Ended up punishing them. Who would have thunk?
Crazy.
You just need to do that earlier. Because even if you get that control, you still have to clear the rest of top floor. Because Dami is still up there. And Dami ended up being a deciding factor in how the round ended because he got a kill through the floor. All he had to do was watch the doorway from above, and you can't push in. Slippery got a kill too, sure, but it probably wasn't even necessary. Dami would have gotten to both. And ended up almost getting the last one before Nyx swung and ended up getting the kill. So again, Above the Law, their clears are just not very well put together, except for the one round we saw in Kitchen. Finally, we do go up to bar, so at the very least, oh, Rizz Academy don't have, or Above the Law don't have to worry about clearing an above floor, but they still have to worry about the mirror windows.
I think part of it is they just said, okay, we're not effective at clearing out the mirrors, so what they're going to do is just try to ignore it, hope that Rizz Academy aren't going to be able to do much with the vertical play, but I feel like that's never a good idea, is to take the round out of your hands and hope that your team, that your opponents aren't going to be able to do something when, I mean, now we know, Rizz Academy, they're able to actually use that vertical play. As now they're looking to go on 4 on the bar site. We actually haven't seen them play. Surprisingly, we're on round 5 and we're seeing one of the most played sites on Cafe for the first time. And they still get to bring the mirror. They get a warden this time. I mean, there's a lot to help Rizz Academy continue to bolster behind the mirror window. Something Above the Law have struggled to deal with, but maybe Above the Law knows their way around this site. So there's a slight chance that they could actually have some more success with this one, but there's still some hope alive to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet. Cafe, a lot of times, can be a defender-sided map. So, who knows? Maybe they come back from this. Either way, about a minute down. Above the Law now droning in through that red hatch. They do have the red wall open. Slippery begins to push up, though. The windows are finally being popped, so he'll be forced back. And the mirror window... Oh, wait. Is it open? It's open. How did that happen? Did they pop it? The defense must have popped it, maybe by accident. That's the only way I can imagine.
Still, I mean, it is still a kill hole, but now it is two-way. You have to worry about it as a defense, but you also have to worry about it as an attacker. So Slippery, yeah, look at that. He can't play behind it because, yeah, it can be shot through. So this isn't really a secure area that the defense can play around. Slippery, I mean, maybe the ADS will help them in the end as a frag grenade. Won't do the job as you just hear. That little beep meaning that an ADS is back online. As I think Cigar, it's a little bit more secure to push through, but there isn't a lot of actual security for Above the Law to work with because they don't truly know if anybody's behind that black mirror that doesn't exist or not. We know that Slippery is waiting behind this white corridor. Some shots gonna ring out, actually find a kill at the last second, and one for Dami. So it is still Rizz Academy gaining an advantage with 30 seconds left. Something Above the Law haven't been able to get these really late round executions.
Not a great start for Above the Law. Again, slow into piano. I mean, yeah, they got the mirror window. Okay, the mirror window was open for them, and they're still taking 2.5 minutes to try and push in. Jolt gets the first kill for his team with a freaking Claymore. Nyx comes in, domes Morocco. Slippery finds another, and now Badger's left, and he's not going to be able to do anything. He gets shorty. Well, not shortied, but ITA 12S'd by the mirror.
I mean, it's still the same thing. It still hurts the same.
Actually, the shorty's way better in combat, but I just don't get it. Above the Law had Pixel cleared. They had the mirror opened for them. Why are they only trying to take piano control? And why are they only taking the fight with the bathroom guy with 30 seconds left? I just don't get it.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
On mirror, the hardest counter to Above the Law. A solid piece of glass, one-way glass. And once again, Rizz Academy just continuing to bring her. I think you had the Valkyrie and the Nook man for Rizz Academy. And maybe this is just like, you know, hindsight, but I feel like knowing what we've seen, a Valkyrie would hurt a lot less than something like Mirror because Above the Law just, I mean, they've shown they can't deal with it. Even with a Valkyrie, you can bring like an IQ of all people. It is an immediate direct counter, unlike Mirror, which Above the Law, not bringing a Twitch. I mean, I think at least with how much she's just been a nuisance, you bring the player or the operator that really can sneak in there, maybe destroy the Black Mirror, but even then the last round, it was destroyed. They weren't able to do much.
See if Rizz Academy decides to make it a little bit easier for Above the Law this time as well. Slippery hears the rappel. In comes the peek, but it's mistimed. So Shiva, probably thankful that he was able to evade Slippery, who is currently 8-3. Pretty substantial scoreline for his team, who are up 5-1. And I mean, I don't know. At this point, I don't know how confident I am that Above the Law are going to be able to clear anything. Like, let alone with a mirror window up. But hey, we'll see. They can make an improvement in the final round. They've already got Red Hatch open. They're droning in. They do spot the mirror window on bathroom. They probably know that Dami's in. Yeah, I think they know Dami's in cocktail as well. Now let's see how they clear the mirror. They're gonna have to use their ace, or they're gonna have to just straight up kill this guy. However, it's not clearing the mirror window that comes first, but the kill onto Slippery. The Wamai, the top fragger in the lobby, goes down thanks to Shiba.
Okay, so that's part of the problem dealt with. That is a gun, but you still haven't done much with this third floor. And I mean, Above the Law, I think almost every single one of their attacks has just dripped down the clock to like the last 20 seconds, and they've had to rush onto the site. And a lot of times they haven't really opened up actual entries for themselves onto the site, so they have to deal with running through these doors, these massive chokeholds, of which Rizz Academy can just wait for them to actually shoot through. A Black Mirror does get shot out. I think that might have been the second floor one. We'll have to see. But now, as Morocco does start to do their job, destroy the floor, hoping to find a player that is hiding inside a train. Nope, Fokal's not on a train. He's all the way back in Fireplace.
Shiva the next to die. Nyx gets that frag, playing in Pillar. I think running out, perhaps? Shy the next as he tries to go for the refrag. Dami is there for the assist. Nyx looking for more. What a flick on the Badger. Good night, Ace. And Morocco and Jolt. The two SAS attackers find themselves in a 2 versus 4. Capcan hides in Emo right behind the pillar. Jolt decides to come up white as Morocco dies. And once again, Above the Law. I mean, dude, there's 15 seconds left. And they're only now making their move. Again, I don't think these guys know how to play Cafe. I'm going to say it. These brothers look lost.
Yeah.
They don't know how to clear anything. I think this is an issue with the map bans.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's really team coordination, because it feels exclusive to how Cafe is played, with how vertical it is, how certain positions need to be held or actually taken back by the attack. So the defense, Cafe might be defender-sided. It is not 5-1 defender-sided. But maybe Above the Law, they've got something up their sleeve for this second half. I mean, they're going to have to win 5 in a row. That is a lot of, not near perfect, but basically perfect siege that they are going to have to execute. Meanwhile, Rizz Academy has clearly shown that they've got some gunners on their team. Slippery currently 8-4, hopping onto that sledge. Currently, Rizz Academy don't actually have a dedicated hard breach. You're probably going to have Nyx bring the secondaries, but I mean, then again, I think you mainly just need one to get inside of Cigar, maybe get one inside of Freezer. So I think grabbing the Candelas, I think they might want to just have some more utility to their actual name.
By the way, 6 Karma just finished their second game. They 7-0'd frauds.
Oh my goodness.
Mystic Academy also 7-1 Dokami. So, more quick games. I think 6 Karma are going to be like a shoo-in. I mean, they're second place in MXPL.
Is that 2 7-0s for them?
They won the first game 7-1, I think, yeah.
That's still impressive.
But I mean, they're 14-1. Also, by the way, I saw Reality TV. Yeah, they did just start late. They ended up winning 7-1. So yeah, so maybe we see, especially because a lot of like a lot of teams already qualled, like the 4 main teams already qualled. So, theoretically the competition is weaker for now these like bigger teams coming in.
True.
So I imagine 6 Karma and Reality TV are probably gonna have a breeze. I think if they're both like first and second seed, they won't be in the same bracket. I think closed. Pretty sure. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it's like rounds.
Yeah.
But back to this game. We've shaved a minute. Rizz Academy are sending in Candelas. They've already got the first pick on a Jolt thanks to Dami hanging out on that upside down rappel. I mean, Look at how quick this is. A minute down. They have a pick. They're setting up on the rappels. Dokkaebi calls are going out. Oh, the peek in from Morocco. Not able to see him. Slippery holding an angle as well. Takes a little bit of damage. More Candelas coming out. Smokes too. Focal goes down, but the jump in comes through the window. C4 not going to land. Slippery another kill on Badger, deny the other C4 possibility. And the plant's going down, but not until Shiba stops it. Swings around the corner at the right time, but Slippery trades back, and Nyx isn't finished. He's just downed. He could very easily be recovered by this attack, but Slippery, with the horse blinders on, trying to trade Shiba, turns his back to Morocco, but Fens is there for the refrag. 2 versus 1 as Nyx remains downed. Shiba will back off over towards, oh, sorry, not Pillar, over towards Piano. He's got open holes to play with, but now the mirror window, it's working against him. The plant being resumed by Dami. Nyx has been picked up. Nyx drops away as well, maybe working a flanker, looking to go outside, but the attackers, they escape now onto these rappels. Nearly an impossible retake now for Shiba. This is one of the hardest in the game. The attackers are already outside. Barring a catastrophic throw from this attack, this is impossible. There's Dami with the finisher after his teammate softens Shiba up. Rizz Academy go up 6-1.
Just kind of showing above the law how to attack on Cafe. Just plain and simple. And now Rizz Academy on match point. I feel like no matter where above the law goes, there isn't much odds that they actually could walk away with it. They're opting to go to that first floor, bringing a lot of denial in the terms of the Goyo and the smoke. You do have some of those fragging operators that could be considered. I mean, Malusi, Alibi. But I think just taking these gunfights against Rizz Academy, they're always going to be on the losing end because how Rizz Academy are actually able to execute onto Cafe. They're always going to have key positions, actually put themselves in favorable gunfights. So, I mean, that is what you're supposed to do as the attack, is set yourselves up for gunfights that you will win like 80% of the time. So above the law, trying to fight their way back, now it will have to be flawless siege. They haven't really shown that they've been able to do that, Crow.
And it was not only did Rizz Academy have great positioning, but they really took advantage of how above the law set up. There was not a lot to stop them from that cocktail take. Most of above the law's resources were dedicated towards like the Whitehall side of things and over closer to Cigar and Piano. And the timing, I mean, a minute in, and we saw the first kill. We'll see if
it's pretty impressive.
We'll see if they continue to speed things up. Now they got Monty. And this is a little scary because Kitchen is a fantastic Monty site. However, Spy gonna try and put a stop to that momentum. Lead-off kill onto Fens, the sledge. Probably the best kill you could have gotten first, barring that Monty.
Yeah, but I mean, Nyx is just gonna kind of walk in, spot the shield, but so far Rizz Academy actually opting to back off from the bakery, maybe wanting to head towards this Christmas side because, I mean, Monty's kind of the leader here. He's taking the slow route. He finally, I think, nope, he is just walking forward. A literal mountain.
Yeah, can't take any
says
risks.
in the name. I think he's wanting now. I think now he's wanting to actually push Shiba outside of VIP, maybe lead him directly into Dami's arms, but Shiba is not taking the bait. He finally has to go somewhere, and it is directly into Dami's loving arms. So the Monty doing its job, and now with Rizz Academy having a 2-man advantage, still a minute 30 in the round, above the law just kind of left sputtering with really one slim chance.
Wow.
Immediately diminished away. So Rizz Academy a dominant for 4 FA.
Yeah, I mean, Monty played perfectly. Dami with great overwatch by Restaurant. Slippery on the other side of the map. I think it was 2 kills for Slip, and then 3 for Dami. And I mean, there's not a lot of things scarier in Siege than being in a do-or-die position like VIP and having a Monty in your face.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can do about it. Not a damn thing. And you know he's got support. Like that guy is not alone. So I mean, it is terrifying. And you can see, I mean, Shiba was forced to go somewhere. He turned his back to take the fight with the guy in restaurant. Even if Dami doesn't kill there, we heard the shield drop from Nyx. It's tough. Rizz Academy, a 7-1 win, like you said, very dominant. We've had another couple games finished too. Achieve Academy beating Lycus Academy 7-2. Mafia Esports 7-1 in Green Wall. Quadratics. Wow, Quadratics won a game. Holy crap! They were the only team in all like 40 something of them from the original qualifier that did not win a single game. And they finally did. They beat Average Joes. You know, I don't know anyone on either of these two teams. Except I think I know Engage, maybe, or Hacker.
I think Hacker might have been. Hacker was on Mystic Academy, I believe.
Yeah. I don't really know any of these people, but congrats. They won their first freaking game. Ooh. What do you know? But I mean, with a quick game like this, that means a slightly longer break. So we'll throw the B stream on screen so you don't have to leave, or you could. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can watch SFCL during the break too, because when they finish, then, you know, we have to wait for everyone anyway. So sit tight, wait for all the rest of the matches. We'll be back.